Let's go dash.
In this episode, the next arc continues to be set up as everyone heads to a training camp to improve their rush dueling skills. Hey there, my name is Rex, and let's discuss episode 28 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, a pretty cool one. Like I said, this one's starting to get things rolling for the next arc. So, Luke finds out about a rush dueling tournament from a pigeon, of all ways. But his solution, right, or his next course of action after finding out about a rush duel tournament is to get everybody prepared, get them a training camp, right, for their club, because, he is, the leader of the rush duel club. And so Mimi had been listening to them, or again, spying on them, and then asked Neil to get them in an advisor, because apparently they need an advisor to go on a training camp for their club. Neil ends up sending Sebastian. So there's already a lot going on, and we've really barely even gotten to the episode. So Sebastian, of course, is acting, or is at least playing nice with them for the most part, under orders of Neil. The fact that Neil would allow Sebastian to do this, or send Sebastian over so that they could have an advisor for their club just to go on this training camp. That's interesting enough. Of course, Kaizo and Sebastian aren't getting along. Of course, Kaizo's rightfully upset, and Sebastian is just being all himself. So they're off, right? They're about to head on to their training camp. But meanwhile, Mimi is over at Goha, at the corporation, and the other 5 members of the top 6 are just gone. They've all been, no, they're still there. They've been demoted. They're still just regular employees. And of course, she's all happy celebrating, and a drone comes in and notifies her that she's being demoted as well. So already there's no top 6, unless they're about to be replaced. So, I guess that's already interesting because, again, a lot of shakeup, or a lot of things being moved around. I guess the thing with Neil was a pretty big incident, obviously. And especially, the fact that President Goha had spoke on the issue, or had put his input in there in last episode, right, when he was talking with Neil. And now Mimi heads over to talk to the president, and she finds him standing there, but it's not super clear what exactly happens, but it seems like it's just his robes there. And when she walks in trying to talk to him, the robes fall over and they're empty, I suppose. The robes and his helmet. So what exactly is going on? We have no idea, because it cuts away back to, I guess the main plot of the episode after this. But already within Goha, it seems like everything's just not in turmoil, but the top 6 are already demoted, and now something is up with Goha. Whatever secret he's hiding behind that mask, behind that robes, is probably going to end up being exposed or revealed, or at least Mimi knows a little bit of it, or a little bit of something of whatever is going on. What exactly it is, I have no idea. Unless he just left the robes to go do something, unless he's somebody who's hiding his identity, which is, again, really curious exactly what's going on or who it could be, or unless, maybe he's like a puppet of something. The weird idea that just comes to mind is, what if he's, like an elementary schooler, like Yuga, or like basically everybody else in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, and we've seen this before with Yoshio, right? Appearing to be somebody bigger than he actually is. So whether that's the case with Goha, that's going to cause a lot of speculation. But regardless, the rest of the episode kicks off. They all head to the training camp, and all the Sushi people are there, right? Menzaburo, Sushiko, Nick are there, as well as the Dinosaur Club, and I think they say the Insect Club, who are people we have not met. I do not believe. I'm pretty sure. I feel weird. But no, I don't think we've met them. So they're all there at the training camp as well. So, nice and cool. They begin their training, which includes switching from attack to defense position and chasing chickens around. So, good fun time. But Yuga, while he's chasing his chicken, he runs into somebody else, Asana, who is, unbeknownst to him, basically the main villain for this arc. And of course, we get to see more of that later on. But she's with her machine, right? And this machine is like, a little, a crane, right? A digging thing. And it's having an issue. Of course, Yuga being himself, he jumps in and he's like, hey, could I take a look? Could I help fix it? She's being a little odd, though, in how she's treating this machine. She's all like, you can understand it, or, he's, it got a little moody or something. in that, you know, she's treating machines like they're alive, or at least like they're sentient. Interesting. But Yuga ends up fixing it, and he asks if he could control it. And it's an interesting moment, and it really feels like, I don't know if it was just me, but it felt a little like there might have been like romantic undertones. But I mean, you know, I had known that this was the villain, right? Or the villain that was teased back in a few episodes, with, you know, in the shadowy figures, right? So how that is going to be, it's odd, but I guess it's kind of sweet in a way, in that they're both kind of bonding over their love for machines or technology, and they go for a ride, and eventually, you know, they part ways, right? What's interesting, of course, you know, she knows his name. She's like, oh yes, you're Yuga, you're the creator of Rush Duels. So of course, you know, if she's the villain, she's gonna know that, obviously. So that's being set up, obviously, the villain. And again, you know, when their confrontation comes later, that'll be odd to see how that plays out. And you know, he gets more information as he's talking with everybody, or at least with Luke, Gakuto, and then the Dinosaur Club, and they're discussing that, you know, who she is and stuff. And they're apparently part of the Machine Cavalry Club, who is, you know, apparently an elite group of students with a bunch of machines. And even apparently the Dinosaur Club had run into them, in the sense that they had taken their excavation equipment. So that's odd. So it seems like that's going to be the theme of at least the group of villains, or at least, you know, everybody that Asana is leading. All these people just with their machines. Machine Cavalry sounds interesting if they're all going to be riding machines like this, and it seems like that's what's going to be happening in the preview for the next episode, at least. So all those pieces set up, it's pretty interesting. But now we get into the duel, where Roman and Sushiko are in an argument over what to watch. There's only one TV, one big TV. They even bring up, like, hey, you know, couldn't you watch it on your phones? They're like, no, I want the big screen. And they each want to watch something. Of course, Roman wants to watch something music related. I forget the name. And then Sushiko wants to watch something sushi related, which apparently is a crime drama with a very, very long title, but it's hilarious. So Yuga suggests, why don't they rush Duel to settle on what they watch? And so, you know, it's a pretty good duel. It's nice to have a duel where the stakes are not so high, as opposed to, you know, previous times where they could potentially getting penalties. Again, you know, Luke versus Luke. And well, even like the first duels in the series, the stakes were up there. But you know, that we ended up getting a few. But regardless, you know, it's a cool little duel. Roman, of course, is trying to use her playstyle where, you know, paying life points, and by having lower life points, she's able to activate effects. But at the same time, Sushiko's deck is based around gaining some advantages. And the drawback to the advantages that she gains is that her opponent gains life points. And so that's interesting, because it counters Roman's strategy, because she can't activate these effects if her life points aren't low enough in order to, you know, meet the requirements to activate the effects. So they kind of counter each other. It's kind of also funny the way that it's shown is that whenever Roman gains life points, a roll of sushi is shot out toward her. So that's funny. And it also kind of seems like, well, you know, if Roman is, you know, distracted at least, or if she's, I guess, well fed also, she potentially can't go sicko mode, right? But she ends up going sicko mode because her patience is tested with all these distractions going on, and she just wants to she just wants to watch her show and everything. So the duel continues. She summons a brand new monster. I forgot to write the name down. And I feel dumb because I wrote down a bunch of other stuff, but I didn't write this monster's name down. But it's a guitar that transforms into a robot, and so cool, you know, pretty cool, interesting monster. I didn't catch if it was still psychic type, you know, like every other monster in her deck, or if it was like a machine type. But either way, you know, she's got a new big boss monster while she's got sicko mode. But she gets distracted because Luke turns on the TV, because apparently Luke watches this sushi crime drama as well. And this week's guest star is the guitarist, the musician that Roman likes, who on top of that gave her her Yu-Gi-Oh, her Duel Monsters card. It's called Duel Monsters here, but gave her ace card, you know, all those years ago. We got the backstory on that. So now she's distracted and she snaps out of sicko mode, which mid-duel, so that causes issues, I guess. But either way, you know, it's just kind of funny. The duel is more funny than anything, a lot of back and forth. I think, of course, you know, it was also neat to see Sushiko's deck basically countering Roman's, and especially on the final turn, Sushiko activates a card that has a requirement of there being a life point difference between her and her opponent. So it's kind of interesting too that we see different approaches to this, right? Where Roman's effects require her to have less life points, so she activates effects where she pays life points. Meanwhile, Sushiko has those cards that require her to have less life points, but instead she gives her opponents more life points, but she's able to make up for it in how much damage she deals in that turn. So this is Roman's first loss, because Roman had a perfect win record up until now, which I thought was pretty neat also, being I think the one character who had no losses up until this point. I believe so. Yeah, at least, you know, in the series. But now she's got her first loss, which I guess is a little unfortunate. But I mean, you know, there was a lot in play. She got distracted. But in the end, they end up watching the sushi crime drama, and Roman enjoys it because her idol is in there. And so, you know, nice, fun little duel. And the episode ends with the evil group just kind of watching on, and especially Asuna looks on and says something like, "I look forward to the day we get to duel Yuga." You know, just talking to herself. But again, you know, this one was a lot more important with setting things up. Last episode was a good one, but this, well, technically, okay, because last episode Luke started the Rush Duel Club, and then now they're in a training camp because of the Rush Duel Club. So technically, it did build on that one. But this one, again, you know, is setting up more pieces, again, with the shifts going on in Goha, with the villain being introduced, and now, you know, they're probably going to be in this training camp for a while, for a few episodes, and especially, you know, the fact that they're preparing for a tournament, that's going to be a big thing. You know, if we get a big tournament arc, either way, things are building up, and I'm liking it. This was, like I said, a good episode. It was very front-loaded with a lot of information, and then the duel at the end was a fine duel. Again, unfortunate Roman lost, but I guess, you know, more duels for Roman is a good thing. But either way, let me know what you think about this episode in the comments below. Are you enjoying it? How are things looking for this arc so far? Overall, thinking it's looking pretty neat. If you have any predictions, let's discuss that as well, especially, you know, with how the final confrontation, obviously, you know, it's obviously set up. Final confrontation is going to be Asuna versus Yuga, so that's gonna be a fun, interesting duel when that does happen. But if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe, enable notifications, make sure you see each new video, stuff like that. Anyway, my name is Rex. Have a nice day.